Hello there, folks. Hey, this is Joe Wazoo here. Hey, recently I was assisting somebody with an E3 I/O card, and they were wiring it to an analog input device that was supposed to put in 4 to 20 milliamp out, some kind of transmitter, and we weren't seeing anything on this. So I got to thinking, what could we use to diagnose to make sure that our analog I/O is working correctly? So what we did in this application is we just basically wired an analog output to an analog input, and then we tested it from there. Proved that the input channel was working correctly, and therefore his transmitter wasn't really putting anything out. And he didn't have a multimeter, so he couldn't really put it in series, but this was a way to test. So let me show you what we did here in this application. First off, we went ahead and opened up Crimson 3.1 because we need to set up the IP address of the E3 module. So in Crimson 3.1, if you go to the File pull down, select New, and if you expand the E3 Intelligent I/O, remember, E3 is something that's only going to be programmed in Crimson 3.1. It's not going to go to 3.2, so you're going to use 3.1 for that. And when you expand the tree, you'll see all the different models that we have available. The one that he was using was the E3 Mix 20884, so I'll select that guy. All right, and I want the IP address to be this here. Notice it comes up on network, Ethernet 1, Ethernet 2, download, whatever. I'm going to use Ethernet 1. This is the address I want. So I'm going to use the USB cable to download. So I'll go to the link, pull down, go to options. I'll check USB, that's correct. And then if you notice, if I go to the link again, all of my send or update are grayed out, including the magic Shazam button. That's because I got to save the file first before I can download. So I'll go File, Save. Should make me pop up a name here. I'll just name it here 331, for instance. Whoops. And I'll just call it that. Okay, now once I do that, I can use the send. Let's try this out. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Hey, it's taking it. Now, if you do get a pop-up here where it won't take it, it has some error. If it's already using the Ethernet connection, I recommend you disconnect the Ethernet connection. Then it should download. But now I just downloaded that over USB, so it should have that IP address. To check that, I'm going to go down and do my DOS prompt. Let's see here. In my DOS window, I'm going to type IP config first to check my local settings. So you can see right here, my wired Ethernet port is 192.168.1.123. That's great. Can I make this so I can see down below here? Okay, really? Here, hold on, team. Let me move this up a little bit. All right, here's my cursor. So if I want to ping 192.168.1.21, that's what I had set here in Crimson 3.1 right there. That's where I set. Let's see what happens. Perfect. I can see it. That's great. Now that I can see it, I should be able to open up Google Chrome and Internet Explorer. And I believe if I put in that IP address, 192.168.1.21 here, it should bring up the web page for this unit, which is perfect. So you can see here, if you're going to log in, I may have already did this, so just log into this thing. And now I'm in here, and I'm currently looking at different items that are on this particular unit. So I'm on the web port here, okay? And what I want to do here is, let's go to my I/O channels. Let me go to my analog input channel. So notice all of my inputs on here are set to 4 to 20 milliamp. That's perfect. If I go to my analog output channel, let's set these up as 4 to 20 milliamp as well. And I'm going to commit these changes to the unit. I wonder if you can do that in Crimson. Hold on, let me look this up. Over here in Crimson. Aha. So I could have done the same thing in Crimson as well. I could have set these here. And that's one thing I do like about Crimson is that I can save this as a database for later review. And I think if I made the change here, it also will take it. Yeah. Now I just made that change. I was curious. If I go back to my web browser, start the unit cycle power. Let's see if it comes up here. So it's all set. Perfect. All right. So all the I/O, the analog is all set to 4 to 20 milliamp. Now I want to test it. Now what I've done here on this unit is I've actually taken a wire from my analog input channels right here. Here's my analog input. Here's analog input number 1, and I've wired it over to analog output number 1. So this output here is going to fire this input. Analog output number 2, the blue wire, is going to go over here to this guy. And number 3 is going to go to analog input 3, and analog output number 4, the red wire, is going to go to analog input number 5. So that's what I'm doing on this thing. In terms of wiring, this just shows right here as well what I'm doing. And I think this maybe shows a little different picture. I've been trying to play with these pictures. Okay, so back to my web server here. I'm live. If I go down here to Tools, and I'm going to click Full Access in my window here, Full Access, and it comes up, and it may not be readily refreshing, but you can click the refresh every 3 seconds. That's the fastest. I'm going to change these to show the signal. So it's going to show now the 4 to 20 milliamp here. If I go to my analog output tab here, also got it set there. If I want to change one of these, particularly the first 4 here, so if I go in here and say that I make this, let me turn off this refresh here. Let's go ahead and set this to maybe 6.5 milliamps. Let's put this one at maybe 12.87, for instance. How about this guy? We put it at 16.23, and we'll take this one to 19.5. All right, there's my values there. Is there a commit all the way on the bottom here? I don't see a commit here, so I'm going to go ahead and do a refresh and see if it'll take it. Let's see what it does here. Does it send it? Okay, let's go over here to analog in. Hey, look, I'm reading those same values in on my channels. Isn't that pretty cool? Let me go one more step in this short video, and that is, what do these values look like in terms of the raw signal back at a PLC or something? Well, if I go over here to display mode, change this from percent or from signal to raw, I want you to notice something. Well, both of them did it. You can see the numbers here, team, go from whatever 5 up to 31 here. Let me go change this guy to 0. Oops. All right, I'm going to turn off this refresh because I'm going to make this 0. And how about we, let's go ahead and we'll leave that one alone. Let me go ahead and refresh, see if we can figure this out. So that should set it out. Look, 0.4, it's close enough because it's analog. Notice the max number is 31,752 right now. That's because if I go back to here, put this at my signal, I'm at 19.5. Let's do this. Let me uncheck this. Let me put this at 20 milliamps. Should be full scale. Let me go ahead and send this out to it. You'll see that channel's at 20 milliamps there. Let me go back and read the raw value. I need you to see something. 32,767. So here's what I want you to remember. A 4 to 20 milliamp input or a 0 to 20 milliamp. The range of these analog input channels in raw numbers is going to be 0 to 32,767 or 15-bit resolution. You must remember that. Anyway, the purpose of this video is just show you how to use the analog output on a card wired directly to an analog input, and you can see the changes. Again, I'm doing that here on the Real I/O. This is actually what my, where's my picture of the thing here? Raw face. Oh, wired. This is actually what it looks like. This is the product that's on my desk. I'm connected to Ethernet 1. There's that USB. I got power coming into here. I'm actually jumping my power. So my V minus is going to all of these V minuses here for my discrete. And then my analogs are just wired to each other. Anyway, quick little video I just thought I'd show off. Hey, thanks a lot, folks. Have yourself a great day.